Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. And we do Massive Beer Review Classics. It's very, very weird for me to call this a classics level beer. But I reviewed this once. That was 8 years ago. So, yeah. Carton. O-dub, son. Yeah, they're 077XX. This is kind of the beer that I would say put them on the map. At least as far as my experience with Carton. It's their double IPA, 7.8%. And I cannot tell you the last time I had this. But as I am privy to do from time to time is to stumble across Augie Carton and his posts. And he posted a video about this beer about a month ago. And I said, man, it's been a while since I've had that beer. I should pick some up. Here we are. What are we drinking now? We're drinking an East Coast double IPA coming at 7.8%. Story time on the side here. It says, like all things truly Jersey, O-dub makes the most in balancing through its accentuation of extremes. Inspired by West Coast IPAs we love, we added a thump of hops to dynamic malt profile to choose a yeast to drive these two further than they wanted to go. Throw our water into the mix and you'll find dank green resinous hops popping over orange, mango, and papaya aromas. Just enough sweetness of body to make a long finish a pleasure to have around. Drink O-dub when your night matters. This beer be just a hair over a month old. And that'd be it. I've always actually liked Carton's designs. They're very, very, very unique. You're not going to miss it. They drink off the beaten craft. I would always kind of that one I've always found a little bit cheesy, but anyway. So yeah, let's see what we got going on here. A little O-dub for the first time in a billion years. The one thing I'll say is one of my favorite things about Carton is they have their beers and they make their beers. Sounds so dumb, but they did a bunch of contracting out of Two Roads in Connecticut. I don't know if they still do that because their facility's open now, so I think they might have do most of their stuff in-house. But all of the Jersey stuff they've ever made, they have always kept in-house. They've never outsourced it to keep that water profile and everything very consistent, and I find that very nice. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's part of, an old school, new school. And by old school, new school, I mean mid-teens, artsy kind of, hazy double IPA. People are not going to construe that as a turbid, hazy double IPA of today's years, but that's what they look like back there. Just off-white head, rich amber, straw combination, orange kind of color, kind of body to it. Let's see if I can get a nose. It is a combination of orange papaya, man. That is actually like that tropical fruit bouncing off that big orange, and it's more like orange marmalade to me than actual like orange, like a fresh squeezed kind of orange. Not a big danky green component coming from the hops, or at least a precursor to that, what we're going to get to taste. It really is, for its ABV, pushing 8%, a double IPA, comes as a perceptionally undersweetened kind of citrus/papaya kind of combination in there. There's a precursor to bittering, but again, nothing ranky-danky or anything like that. It smells like, the old school, this fly is going to kill me, old school, new school, hazy double. We're talking Sips, the Sunshines, the Fiddleheads of the world. That level double IPA, that era, I should say, of double IPA. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. But that is resinous. And it tastes actually quite bittering. Way more bittering than I remember it being. It hasn't changed. My memory is just the way it is. So that big combination of the papaya orange, definitely a little less in the taste than you would actually get in the nose. Not by a ton, but it's a little bit more undersweetened. Even though I did say undersweetened in the nose, it just comes off, fully attenuated. There isn't a big, huge residual sweetness on this beer. It really is that bittering that really jumps up and grabs you and yanks on you that I think shifts that sweetness to quite a bit lower. There's a nice mouthfeel to it. Again, you're thinking about double IPAs before ultra hazy. This is definitely Sip of Sunshine level kind of mouthfeel to it. Or it has this full mouthfeel without being turbid, like dense, I don't know, soupy, whatever the word you want to use. There's a drinkability to it, but you know you're drinking something of oomph. There's maybe the slightest bit of like a diacetyl DMS thing here, and it's so minimal. It's hard for me to even pick out. That's why I'm saying I think it's one or the other. I'm going off more of a mouthfeel thing here, too. There's a little flabby thing that I associate with that. The first sip, I got a little something, and I think it was diacetyl, but it was so minimal that by the second or third sip, it's just not perceptual anymore. But what is left is like this slightly flabby thing. It's the nittiest of nitpicks here. I mean, it's something that I got, so I'm mentioning it, but by the third, fourth sip now, it's not even something I'm really registering all that much. And that's the thing with the big turbid hazies. Those, not that this is a small beer, and not that it doesn't have its volume to overpower any kind of niggles and weird little things, but those big turbids, you never even get a sense that in it, because there's nowhere there's so many places for that stuff to hide, not so much in this beer. Anyway, it's a blast from the past, not just for this beer. It is for this beer, because I haven't had it in quite some time, and it's very reminiscent of what I remember, but also different than I remember, all at the same time, what makes it a fun beer. But it also reminds me of that era before everybody figured out brewer sugar, and let's just do it all this way, and it all has to be this homogenized butternut squash soupiness. There was a variance here. There was, obviously follow the leader here. This, again, I keep referencing, the Headies of the world, the Alchemist beers of the world, the Sips, the Lawsons, those kind of beers, because that's where this finds its DNA. But it's Carton's own take on it. And I think I think it drank, what's the word I'm looking for? I think back then it was wow. But I think it's still a wow beer now, but in a different sense. In a more nostalgic sense, we're calling this a Massive Beer Review Classic, so we're allowed to well up a little bit of nostalgia on this. I like it. I think that combination, the way that fruit flips the script from the nose to the taste, the way those hops come out and jump and bite on you in a big resinous kind of chunk, the creepable drinkability of it, because it doesn't have that super turbid, thick denseness to it. It has itself, full mouthfeel, lends itself to something that can be chugged and drank, which is dangerous but also fun. It's a classic. It is a classic. And I'm glad I picked up a 4-pack of it. These are the kind of beers I don't drink for a while. They're so readily available. Carton's 40 minutes away from where I live, an hour max. And we get wide distribution. They'll deliver to my house if I order from them. And it's a beer I see. I see it all the time. I just don't pick it up because I'm like, I'll get it next time. And I think that's one of the definitions of the classics for me. Whether it be Trappist ales or some of these like old stouts or, English stouts or anything like that. It's just like, get them next time. And then you finally get them and you drink them and you realize how much you enjoy them and you want to kick yourself in your own ass for not buying them more often. Loved O-Dub when it came out. Loved drinking it. Still do. How about that? Standing the test of time. God damn it. I have to say nice things about Augie's beer. Kills me. Just inside. Anyway. No, he's a good dude. He's fucking. Anyway. Yeah. Delicious. Delicious. Listen. This is one of the better double IPAs I've had as of late. Yes. Is Mount Rushmore status for me? No. There are 4 double IPAs I like better than this beer that I've had as of late. Classics-wise, if we whittle it back to the beers that were in the mid-teens to late teens, kind of get their heyday kind of beers, it's definitely higher up on that rung. Is it Mount Rushmore status might still be outside looking in, but it's worthy. It's a very tasty beer, and I'm glad it still exists. Value and availability on this, $16 I paid for a 4-pack off a shelf. Like I said, month old, relatively fresh, double IPA. It's decent. A lot of double IPAs get up in the 18 now. So I'm not going to get too hot and bothered about the price on it and leave you with if you like this. If you're not afraid of hops and a little bit of resinous funness, if hazy IPA doesn't have to be butternut squash soup, if you like that early aughts to mid to late aughts run. Again, Lawson's, Alchemy, those beers, you'll dig this. You will. If you like good beer, you'll dig this too. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Carton, have you been to the brewery? I've been to the tap room, old brewery. I haven't been in the new spot yet, but I've been there a bunch of times, but it's been a while. I need to revisit. Have you been there? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? What is your history with this beer? That may be the best kind of question or conversation to have. Have you had it a bunch? Did you drink it originally? You don't drink it anymore? When's the last time you had it? What are your thoughts? All that fun stuff down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of ODub right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.